Stitchy's World. My name is Caitlin and it's so good to be back and hopefully to be interacting with you and to talk about all of the things that I've been crocheting and been so excited about lately. Yes, I said crocheting. I haven't done that much knitting at all this summer really, but the crochet has just kept me so inspired and motivated, and I'm really excited to talk to you about what I've been working on. So the main book that I'm going to be talking about today is the Aquatic Amigurumi. I'll put it up on the screen so you can look at it more in depth. Now this is by Natasha Tischenko, and it is a pattern book that has, I don't know, it feels like 30 or so patterns in it. I have made 4 so far, and I kind of set myself up for a little challenge this summer, which I don't know if I'm going to finish because other things have come up, but I thought it would be so fun to actually crochet my way through an entire book. But like I said, I have 4 things to show you today, so what I'm going to do is show you what I've made, and then I'm going to give you my review of the book so far. And I think after doing 4 patterns, it's pretty safe to say I got a good feel for the book. So the first project that I did was this guy. And I don't even remember what he's called. This is Stripey the Angelfish. So Stripey is spectacular. If you love color, this is a really fun project to do. I actually had improvised quite a bit with the colors on this one. Now I never am one to really do everything like the designer shows in the picture, but I had to make some last minute adjustments due to yarn running out, which was very frustrating and almost prevented me from making him. So this is Stripey. You start with the green here, the seafoam green, at the nose, and this is crocheted in the round. And then what's really neat about these patterns is Natasha Tischenko will give you a row of back loop only that will leave a ridge, so you know exactly where to place the different parts, where to attach the fins, or to put the extra, the decorative stripes on. So I find that so helpful. I'm not very good at eyeballing it or measuring it, and especially when you think about the fact that crochet is actually a spiral, it's very hard to line things up exactly. So I really appreciate when a designer will do that. So that's the case where I attached the body to the head here. There was a row of back loop only, and then used crochet into that. I did the body, and then the tails and the fins obviously are all done separately, and these little doohickeys. So if you're gonna make these yourself, what I would really suggest is putting a pipe cleaner into these little bits, because then you can mold them. So I guess one of them I did. This blue one here does have a pipe cleaner in it, but I think it's just a cool feature to be able to like give it some motion. So there is a pipe cleaner in the one, but not the others. Making this fish, I think I lost hope about midway through, and then I just powered on, and I'm so glad I did. And I have to say, that's an experience I have a lot when I'm working on amigurumi, is you get to a point and you're like, this is not at all what the finished product is supposed to look like. It just doesn't have the right, I don't know, flair, finished look to it. It just looks kind of blah. But it's always in the finishing that things start coming together. So this, one of the things I really like about it is the embroidery. So these are just the straight lines that I did on the fins and the tail, and also it's echoed here on the front. Now, if you look at the pattern, you're gonna see there really aren't supposed to be as many colors as I had, and the reason I did switch to a hot pink here is because I ran out of the seafoam green, and I wanted to be able to echo the seafoam green in the tail, in the dorsal fin, and the dorsal and pelvic fin. There you go. There's an airplane. I live by an airport now. But you know what? I think it came out cool, and I was able to use that hot pink again in the tail end because once again I ran out of the fuchsia. So I'll talk a little bit more about yarn in the next part of the video, what I used. But I did just use like a sport weight, somewhere between a fingering and a sport weight. It's craft yarn. It's not yarn I would recommend, but it's yarn I'm using because I bought it and I'm gonna use it. And what the heck is that? Oh, we got all kinds of sounds today. So this is Stripey the Angelfish. Those were my main issues with it, was running out of yarn and just feeling like it was not going to come together, but the finishing always brings it together, and I just love the stripes. They're kind of like a textured stripe, so I like that too. Anyway, I hope you like him. Next up is so we have an angelfish. Now we do have an anglerfish. This is Sunny the Anglerfish. Johnny is a study in purple. Oh my goodness, I should take a lint roller to my projects before I put them on YouTube. So Sunny was fun to make, and I learned a lot of new techniques making Sunny. For example, to do the teeth. No, before you do the teeth, you make this bottom part of the mouth, and this is actually sewn on. No, it's not sewn on. I shouldn't have said that. It's detached. They're separate pieces. So you go back and forth and do your increases. But something that I had to learn was the crab stitch. Now the crab stitch is one of those stitches. I would watch a video and be like, I got it, that's easy. And then I would sit down to do it, and I don't know what I was doing. I don't know if this is the crab stitch. It was just a way to get a nice edge around, and I was like, you know, as long as I think it looks good, it's fine. So I did some crab stitch variation to create the little lips around Sunny, and then the teeth was another matter. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a stitch that I had to learn to make the teeth. It's not even a stitch, it was just something I've never done before. Something I struggled with in this pattern is stuffing it, and I am not very happy with the end result of how it looks. You may not be able to see it on camera, maybe you can. It looks to me to be very lumpy, and there's two reasons for this. One is because I'm super cheap and I never buy new stuffing, and I just use stuffing from pillows. It's way cheaper. And then two, I think I stuffed it the wrong way. It told you to stuff it kind of like a flattened football, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's what it was. I made him the wrong kind of flat. He was supposed to be flat in the other direction. Once I got to the next part in the pattern, I realized that I had been shaping him wrong. So instead of just saying, oh well, mine's a little different, this is how I'm shaping mine, I tried to fix it and ended up with a very lumpy Sunny. But that's okay. So this one also, you can do honestly whatever colors you want to do. I was not exactly aiming for what I ended up with. If the lighting is good, which it is for me, but I don't know if it will be for you, there are 3 different purples on here, but you know what? I figure it kind of gives the effect of shading. And that's one thing that I want to be better about in my crochet from now on, is being more confident about my color choices. I started watching a lot of adult coloring videos on YouTube and just learning about how to select color and how colors can either complement each other or make each other, I don't know, look a certain way. Obviously, I'm not very studied on the subject, but I think I want to try to be a little more creative with the colors and not be afraid to experiment. So here's Sunny. He has some fun embroidery stitches as well. I think I had a little trouble with the tail. One of the fins is not shaped correctly, but because I did the embroidery stitches, it gives the illusion of being shaped. So it doesn't matter. In my opinion, if you're having fun and you finish it, it's a success. And even if you don't finish it, if you learned something, I guess that's also a success. And of course, my favorite feature about Sunny is this dangly light bulb on his head. I'm assuming it's a light bulb. I don't think it said it was a light bulb. Oh, it has a name. This is the luminescent Esca. I don't know what that means. Luminescent Esca. But I don't think Sunny is even awake, judging by the way his eyes are, so he probably spends his time way down on the bottom of the ocean floor. So here's my two fishies so far. Next up, I actually did a human. My next project was Boris the fisherman. So Boris the fisherman was super fun to make. There was not a moment of this project that I didn't fully enjoy. He is not perfect, but who is? So he's got a fish in his pocket here. Woo! The pattern book gives you the pattern for the fish included in this one. So what was a little bit challenging about putting him together was I ran out of yarn. He has different shades for his feet as he does for his hands and his head. This bottom portion was from that cheap craft yarn that I was telling you about, that I'll tell you more about in a little bit. There's a hair on him. Come on, Boris. Look your best. I ran out of the yarn. I'd already done half the head, and I was at that point where I was like, have I gone far enough that it's not worth taking out and I need to just power through this, or do I give up now? So I'm glad I didn't give up. I ordered some yarn on Hobie and got plenty of this color tan to be able to do a couple more. Well, whatever. What else? I loved making his beard. The speckles on the beard were so fun. Now the beard is actually a complete circle that you fold over and sew together into this half circle shape and put on his face. I also have really been enjoying this pattern book for the fact that it has really cute embroidery for the faces without having to do safety eyes. I think safety eyes can look really good, but I also really enjoy being able to make an entire thing just out of yarn. It feels very, I don't know, like an accomplishment. So this is Boris. I really love him. I think I did put, what do you call it, in his arms? Pipe cleaners in his arms so he can do some gestures. Yeah, so anyway, Boris the fisherman, his feet are supposed to be turned in like that. That's the pattern. I guess it gives him a little bit of character, right? Yeah. And last but not least, for now, I made Joni the goldfish, which is the next. Yeah, so I did actually go 1, 2, 3, 4 in this pattern book. Joni the goldfish. Doo. She's a little sailor. I did change the pattern a little bit for the sweater because I found that the written pattern would have been too big, and I don't know exactly why that is. I made it a little bit smaller and kept trying it on. I was like, good, good, good. But then when it was time to put it on, when I was all done, I was like, wow, why did I make this so tight? I should have given it a little more room. Whatever, it really doesn't matter. In fact, I could have, oh well, it's fine. I think it looks really good. Now this is kind of funny because in this case, I was trying to follow the colors in the book, and the green is just not the same green. I think everything else kind of works. Like, I think the gold, the red, the blue all go together really nicely. The white, obviously. The green, I was aiming for a more olive, and what I ended up with was more like forest green, I guess. Because I ordered it online, I wasn't exactly sure of the shade. I couldn't like hold them together before I started. You know, I like the gold and the green, and I like the blue and the gold. But all in all, I think it still works. The one thing that's kind of funny about Joni is her lips. It was when, I guess I struggle with orientation, vertical versus horizontal, because of my Sunny, I flattened him the wrong way. Well, on the lips, I attached them in the wrong direction. They were supposed to be attached like fish lips, kind of like an 8, like stuck on the front of her face. Well, mine, by the time I was done sewing them on, mine are at a true 45-degree angle, which I fought against it. I kept twisting her lips, twisting her lips, twisting her lips, and then I was like, you know what? Like, does that not give her some kind of attitude? So I figured it's fine, just like that. And that's Joni. This is my crew so far. I have Joni, Boris, Sunny, and Stripey. I've also worked on some other projects during the summer. It's no big deal. There's no deadline for this. This is just me doing something fun that I enjoy. So I'm really excited to do the octopus, especially since I've been talking about being a little braver with my color choices. I think with the octopus, I'll be able to really experiment with color combination. I want to talk a little bit about the book and show you a little bit more from it. This book is really well formatted, as I find all the Meteor books are. There are some really, really cute patterns. So let me show you some that I'm really looking forward to. This is the octopus. So I'm really looking forward to making the octopus. Oh my goodness, it's not an octopus, it's a jellyfish. Oh, there is an octopus, that's right. Playing with little sailboats. Spiky the lionfish. Spiky has a look. I'm excited to make Spiky. I feel like all of these patterns have a lot of character. This lobster, so cute. There's the mermaid. Okay, if there was one pattern I'm less impressed with in this book, it's the mermaid, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I just feel like we've, like, mermaids and unicorns. It's hard to find a pattern for a mermaid and a unicorn that is like the best pattern, because there's so many of them and we've seen so many mermaids and unicorns at this point that, I don't know, I feel like it's hard to make them stand out. That's my own personal opinion. Let me know if you found one that you really like, because I'd love to make it. You've got to see this seagull. With a fish. Wait, that's not a seagull. Why do I not know any of these animals? Narcissus the pelican. With a fish hanging out of his mouth. So cute. Valentine the pirate. So cute. So I love 90% of the patterns in this book. And I think the mermaids have a place in the set, so I'm not saying I won't make them. And I didn't show you, there were a couple of fish I think that I might have, maybe I did show you all of them. Oh no, there's well, you gotta see him. Poirot the sawfish. Wow. I think that's what I love about these designs, is they're so unique. Oh, the seagulls! They really are unique. Okay, I'm gonna stop there because I think I'm going on long enough. A couple of things I really appreciate about this book. One, there's a nice section in the front of the book about techniques that you're gonna need, including embroidery stitches and that kind of thing. I did still supplement with YouTube videos for the crab stitch and for the French knots, which I put on Joni. Joni's full of French knots. Those are fun to do, but the first like 7 times I was trying to do them, somehow they just kept going through the fabric and there was no knot. So I think I might have been going through the same hole I came up in. I'm not exactly sure. One of the things I really do like about this book besides that is the little like progress photos. So I've seen this in a lot of amigurumi patterns published in books. I don't work so much from online patterns, like where I pay for just one pattern at a time. I think that, I don't know why, but the progress photos relate to the pattern. They'll give you a number in the pattern, and it'll be like, see photo 7, and you just find 7 in the grid of photos. And I find sometimes that's all I need to just like, oh, that makes sense, you know? Where sometimes if you're just reading the words, you're not quite getting the message. At least that happens to me. And the other thing I'll say about this book is I love all of the embellishments. I feel like this creator really took her time in getting all of the finishing touches just right. So it's really hard to make a finished product that doesn't look good, just because they look so put together, and I can always appreciate that, you know, as I'm going through the process of making something. So I highly recommend this book. It's been super fun. I'm sorry I'm putting this video out at the end of summer if this was something that you would have enjoyed making during the summer. But there's still 2 weeks till September, so maybe you'll want to pick it up, or you could get a head start for next year. The last thing I wanted to talk about really briefly is my yarn woes, and it's kind of a word of caution to anybody that's looking to purchase amigurumi yarn. So I think the best recommendations are, I have not followed any of them. What I've learned from watching like Elise Rose crochet and different YouTubers is that anything with cotton is going to be your best bet, because it's a little bit sturdier, it doesn't have the stretch, and for these kinds of amigurumi, it works really well. I don't use cotton yarn just because I haven't found it in an affordable, colorful array that I could get it all at once and just have it to work with. I guess I'm also, with amigurumi, I'm a little bit different than when I'm knitting. When I'm knitting, I can have just the yarn that I need for that project, but when I'm doing amigurumi, I feel more like an artist, like opening up my paints, and I want to see all the colors and what I'm gonna, you know, and decide then what I'm gonna choose from for my project. So this is where I fell into a pitfall that I'm warning you against. I went online and I bought the cheapest set on Amazon of little tiny skeins of colorful amigurumi yarn. Now, I will show you what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. So, if you look on the label, you'll see next to no information. Inscraft, acrylic yarn, 100% acrylic material. No indication of how much yarn is in a skein, but they're small. Like, these are small skeins. So when I look at a picture in a book, I think, oh, this should be enough for the head of Stripey the Angelfish. It's not. That one of these only got me to here. So that's kind of annoying, because don't forget, crochet takes up a lot of yarn. So these little skeins will not get you far. So instead of wisening up when I started running out of yarn, instead of wisening up and realizing I need to just buy like reputable yarn, I doubled down on my bad investment and I bought another kit. But this time, instead of only like the, 24 pack, I was like, I'm gonna get the 48 pack, and that way I'll never run into this problem again. Wouldn't you know, pretty much none of the colors matched up with the original colors that I had purchased. So now I have all this yarn and they don't exactly match. So I think it was purple that I was trying to get. Okay, here's a purple. Okay, this one, you know what? I can't even tell if it's a match. I want to say it's not. It's probably a match, but a different dye lot. because there's no dye lots on any of these. There's no names for colors. There's no numbers for colors. So now, and when I bought, no, this must have been the first kit I bought, because when I bought the second kit with more colors, the skeins were smaller. So please learn from my mistakes. In some ways, I'm still glad I have all of the colors. At least there's that. I do have a lot of colors to choose from. I just have to be really smart about how I pair them up, because I can't count on there being another yellow to pick up where this yellow runs out. So that's just something I learned. Once I got done with Sunny, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be smart. I'm going to order the yarn that I need for the next 3 projects from Hobbii, which is what I did, and it worked out. I purchased, I guess, 2 different tans. I don't know why I do the things I do, but I thought it was a good idea, so that's what I did. So I purchased Amigo 100% acrylic yarn from Hobbii, and you get way more on a skein, obviously. You get, oh, nice things like a color number and a dye lot that you can use if you do need to order more yarn. The price is not bad, and it came quickly. So when you're looking for other craft yarn options besides Amazon, please consider Hobbii or really anything else except for Amazon. Unless it's a reputable company that you know, like as a yarn manufacturer. So that's my word of caution about amigurumi yarn. You can take it with a grain of salt, because if someone gave me the same advice, I probably wouldn't listen. So that's where we're going to leave things off for today. I do have something else in the works that I'm excited to talk about, and hopefully I will be able to show it off very soon. It's a project that I'm actually reworking, so I'm not going to tell you. Actually, I'll tell you what it is, because then you'll come back, because you'll want to see it. So I'm reworking the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I had made this set of turtles at the beginning of when I was doing amigurumi. It was one of the first that I had done. I found a free pattern and I just went to town. And I loved them. I was so proud of them, and I'm still really proud of them. But we pulled them out of the box the other day that we had been keeping them in. We moved recently. And oh my goodness, they are not to the quality that I expect from myself now. Put it that way. So anyway, I'm redoing them, and this is kind of something I'm doing, 1, because it's going to be a gift, but 2, to kind of show myself how far I've come, because I don't often take any time to look back and, you know, feel proud. It feels weird to brag, and it feels like I'm bragging a little bit, but I think as a crochet artist, we can call ourselves that, right? Or an artist of any kind, it's really important to appreciate your journey. And I think this project will help me to appreciate how far I've come, how much I've learned, how many skills I've acquired, and what I can do now. So that's what that's all about, and I'm excited to show you them. And this time I'm also doing Splinter, so I'm super excited about Splinter. He looks really cool in the picture. All right, thank you so much for coming today to my Stitchy's World YouTube video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. I make no promises about the schedule that I stick to or don't stick to, but I love having you here, and I love talking about crochet. So I hope I see you next time. Until then, have a really great week. Until next time. I feel like I should have a catchphrase that I say at the end of the video, but I can't think of what to say. I'll just say bye!